Yes, I mean, as I said, we are answering questions here. It's not a joke. You aren't seeing things. It's real. Now, if you want to ask a question, you're seeing me answer questions, and you're like, man, I want to ask a question. So here's how you do it. So every Wednesday, or sometimes Thursday, if I forget, I post a community post on my YouTube channel. If you go to my channel, then hit the community button at the top, you will then see a post every Wednesday or Thursday saying, hey, hope you're well, ask me questions for this podcast, boom, leave them down below. Or if you don't want to wait until next Wednesday to ask me questions, what you can do is create an account with Discord and join my Discord server, which is a community chat room where we can all hang out. There's a section of this big server chat room where you can where you can ask me questions. It's called Ask EmSwizzle. You can ask me questions in there, or if you've been asking questions and you're like, well, I'm not getting my question answered. By the way, the Discord link is in the description, by the way. If you're asking me questions and you're like, well, it's not getting answered, you can become a channel member for as low as $1.99, and that will guarantee that at least one of your questions will be on the podcast. And not just on the podcast, answered first. So I have 3 members' questions. Once again, if you become a member, that is 1 guaranteed question at least. Sometimes I'll put 2 of yours in there, but at least 1 guaranteed. So let's go to our 3 members' questions for this podcast. We have the first one from Sonic Generations asking, if there were to be a Zelda remake in the September Direct, which game would be remade? So, if I'm the brains of Nintendo, which Zelda game would be remade? We're struggling to talk here. Catch my breath. Which Zelda game would be remade? If I'm them, I'm remaking. That's tough. I don't think that you have any options aside from Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. I think that you make that either a bundle, or you put them both out together, like just not a bundle, like 60 and 60. I don't know. I think that you remake one of those games, or sorry, both, either one or both of those games, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD. I think if you have to pick one, you pick the better received one, which if I'm not wrong, it's Wind Waker. Can we actually check that? Metacritic isn't like the best way to check how well something is received, but like Wind Waker got a 96 out of 100 on the GameCube. Twilight Princess has a 95. Sorry. Also a 96 on GameCube. So really, you can go either way. And once again, that's not the like the best way to track how well a game is received, but either way, I would probably prefer a Twilight Princess one, just because I have the Wind Waker Wii U one. I mean, I also have the Twilight Princess Wii U one, but I feel like Twilight Princess, not that it's the better game, I don't know. I just feel like it's, man, it's maybe just more like the Zelda that we have, as in like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, it looks more like that kind of Zelda game, and not Wind Waker where it's like Toon Link, which is cool. Like, that's fine. I just like, if you want to try your best to carry over the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom audience, you might want to try Twilight Princess if you have to pick one of them. If you have to only pick one, you might want to pick that one. So I say that. If you're asking me, I want both remade. Then DK Lackeys asks, opinion on Mario Kart Tour. Opinion. It's for a free mobile game, it's pretty dang good. It's one of the better mobile games out there, I think. In terms of like a game experience, it's all right. Once again, it's free. I don't love it. I don't play it like very often, because I have like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to play, And when you compare it to that, it's pretty bad. But for a free game, a mobile game, it's pretty dang good. I give it, in terms of a mobile game, not like not a full game experience, but for a mobile game, I give it like a solid 7.5 out of 10. It's pretty good. And Cam Games is asking, I've never played a Zelda game. I am completely new to the series. What game should I start with? Okay. That's a good one, because I started with Breath of the Wild, believe it or not. That's where I began. And I think that you should also start with Breath of the Wild, because you could go from Breath of the Wild, then immediately to the sequel for that game, Tears of the Kingdom, and then I even like was able to go back and play like Skyward Sword on the Wii and replay Twilight Princess, which I haven't yet, but I will. And when I replayed Skyward Sword, an older Zelda game, I mean, there was not much like that told me to play that I should have played that one before Breath of the Wild. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, if I played Skyward Sword first, maybe I would have known more when I played Breath of the Wild. But like, you don't have to start like with the first few games or whatever. Like, I say Breath of the Wild is a good starting point. That teaches you a lot about Zelda, and then you go to Tears of the Kingdom, and then with Skyward Sword, you kind of know what you kind of know what to expect when you go into there. So I say you either begin with Breath of the Wild, or maybe begin with something like Zelda Wind Waker on the GameCube, which might eventually come to Switch. But my definitive answer is, I mean, do what I did, because I think it's pretty good. I began with Breath of the Wild. But yeah, you can even like mess around with some of the NES Zelda games too. Those are also cool. Not as high quality, of course, but pretty cool as well. Then non-member questions. Connor5 asks, do you think Tomodachi Life could still come to Switch? Love your vids. Thanks so much. Could it still come to Switch? I think so. Here's the thing. I think that we are in the era of Nintendo being liked. For example, they responded to my letter that I sent them. They are putting out Mario Wonder and giving us things that we like in there. They're being better to us. With that said, Tomodachi is right around the corner. I'm just kidding. But like, really, like, I mean, is it possible? Could it still come? Yeah, I mean, it could be announced tomorrow. But it's just, it's hard. Because, like, Miitopia didn't sell, I think, as good as they wanted it to. Like, it did, like, 1.8 million or somewhere around there. Not as well as they wanted it to. So it's like, what's the incentive to bringing Tomodachi Life over? I have a response to that. They might think, well, what's the point of doing that? My response is, nobody asked for Miitopia to come to Switch. Or not many. Everyone wants Tomodachi Life, so you bring that over. Just even because, like, word of mouth. Like, everyone's saying, Tomodachi, Tomodachi, Tomodachi. If you see it, like, on a GameStop shelf, you might just buy it. You know, like, you might just go ahead and buy Tomodachi Life. I think it's much bigger. And I think it's certainly possible. But at this point, it looks very unlikely. But I would still keep hope. Like, I am still hoping for it. And I still have hope for it being in the September Direct. Icy Kirby asks, how long does it take to make your shorts/podcast? Okay, sick. So shorts on average take like an hour and 15 or so. And then the podcasts, I mean, recording it alone is like 2 hours. Getting notes is like an extra hour. Editing is like 2 to 3 hours. So what's that? Like 5 hours in total? Somewhere around there. Yeah, sounds right. 1 hour 15 for shorts, and then 5 hours for the podcast. But yeah, I love doing it, so I can't even complain. And then we got Isaac Hilty 6804. What a username. Do you think Super Mario Wonder will be the best 2D platformer in the franchise? You know what? I thought about this. I'm not going to lie to you. I think yes. Here's why. It's not recency bias. You look at any other Mario Bros. Game. Look at Mario Bros. Wii, Mario U Deluxe, or whatever before that. Remove your freaking nostalgia. Does Mario Wonder not look like the best Mario game yet? Best 2D Mario game yet? You have everything in there. New power-ups. Obviously, Bowser is still there. The main event of a boss. You have brand new power-ups. You have freaking Wonder Seeds. You have such a great-looking game. No nostalgia. Does this not look better than Mario Bros. Wii? If you say no, I don't know what you're seeing. And my opinion isn't always the right one. Maybe I'm seeing weird things. But I don't think in terms of the game content this competes. I don't think so. I think it'll be the best 2D Mario game to date. No nostalgia. Nostalgia-wise, Mario Bros. Be on top. I don't think Mario Wonder competes with Mario Wii. It's just Mario Wonder is on a different level. I think it's gonna be the best one. That's just me though. Maybe we play it and it's terrible, you know? Who knows? But I think it'll be the best one. And then we got GRS Talks 1. What would you think of a Wonder Flower item in Mario Kart? That's a great question, actually. A Wonder Flower item in Mario Kart, I would assume Mario Kart 9. That could be sick, because like Wonder Flowers don't even just like throw you off. Like it can, Wonder Flowers do a lot. It can change, like it can like tilt the terrain. It can change your perspective. Like what if you were playing Mario Kart? Like what if you or like somebody in like 12th place used a Wonder Seed, kind of like how you can use a blooper to like blur everyone's, you know, vision, or like to, you know, black it out. What if you could use you could use a Wonder Seed on everyone else that, like, you know, made their perspective change a tiny bit, or like, you know, I don't know, tilt the track for them, or something to like slightly throw them off. Once again, just like how a blooper works. That's actually a very, very good idea. If they did use a Wonder Flower in Mario Kart 9, I would love it. Yeah, I would love that a lot. Fantastic idea. Terrific. And then we've got to Nick Master. How many physical Switch games in your collection? I can't count them all for you, but I have some back here. If I had to guesstimate, I don't have as many as some people think. Like I have a lot, and I know I'm grateful. But I don't have as many as you might like think I do. Like you might guess I have like 100. I probably have like 50. Maybe like 55, 50. Yeah, 50's right. 50's right. I have some here, I have some back there, and I have some over on my bookshelf. About 50. Yeah. Yep, okay. 50 physical Switch games around there. Which once again I know is a lot, and I'm grateful. I just feel like there's people out there who think I have like 10,000. You know, like, to set the record straight, I don't have, like, you know, more than 50. Then Elliot, moving to Discord questions here. Elliot asks, what do you use to make videos and YouTube shorts? Great question. Great question. I assume that you mean editing software. I use Adobe Premiere Pro, which is a paid software, so, you know, you can't go ahead and just download that. But it's, I think, the best editing software I've ever used. And I've used, like, what's the other one? Like DaVinci Resolve and Final Cut. I've used these ones. I personally, now, obviously, everyone has a preference. And maybe there's some that are better than Premiere Pro. But I just am bread and butter with Adobe Premiere Pro. I don't know, like, all the ins and outs and, like, every trade secret of the Adobe Corporation, but I just, like, mesh well with it. And it was hard because, like, for the longest time, like I was editing on some jabroni random program, you know, like some random program that I didn't even know. I think it was called, like, Movavi or whatever, right? And so when I tried to begin editing in Premiere Pro, I was so lost. I was like, what the heck do? I don't know how to use this editing software. And so what I did was I just Googled and Googled and Googled everything, like from how to import a video into the editing program, to how to put it on the timeline, to how to cut up a video, things like that. And then I learned the entire software as I kept on going. And now I make all my shorts and I make all my podcasts. Everything is done by me. And so I like Premiere Pro. I recommend. And then we've got the rumor asking, what do you think were the best and worst years of Nintendo? So, like, the best and, like, worst eras. Really, I give you the best was probably, not business-wise, but the best was probably 2012 to 2018. Good little 6-year era. I like that. 12 to 18 Once again, not business-wise. Like 2017 was big for the Switch, but like 2015, 2014, Wii U stuff like that was not going great. Even like 2013 was pretty bad. I think that was my favorite era. And then the worst, you gotta know, like, I wasn't alive for every era. So maybe like there's someone out there who lived the NES era up until now that knows, better than I. Maybe they were better back in the GameCube era. From what I've experienced, that being GameCube era up to Switch era, from what I've experienced, I say that the Wii U-ish was the best experience-wise, if you had a Wii U and everything, for me personally. And I think that the worst, I couldn't give you like a long era being the worst, but I can give you, I think the worst year for Switch, for me personally, I'll say it again, for me personally, was probably last year. The only highlights, and I could be stupid, I could be forgetting something, was Kirby and Splatoon. I could be forgetting it. Hold on. I need to make sure I'm not forgetting something, because like if I'm forgetting a massive game, someone will kill me. Oh, Pokemon. Well, I didn't beat Pokemon yet. Pokemon, Splatoon, and Kirby were my only highlights that I can remember. Oh, Switch Sports. I mean, there's a few good games, but I give you this. I argue that there are more games, better games releasing this year and in other years of the Switch than there was in 2022. Like, you had Pokemon Legends Arceus, you had Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you had Splatoon, Kirby, but look at this year. Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Wonder, Detective Pikachu, Mario RPG, WarioWare Move It, Kirby Dreamland Deluxe. What don't you have this year? Not much. You have a lot this year. So I think that's probably like the worst year of Nintendo. No, sorry, that sounds bad. Sounds real bad. Worst year of fun. And that sounds terrible. I know that people will hate that, because they'll say Wii U sucked. I was still like growing up in the Wii U era, so I didn't realize that it was bad. Now, if I was this age in the Wii U era, I'd probably be like, yeah, this sucks too. But because I didn't know that it was bad back then, it wasn't bad for me, and I don't look back on it as a bad era. So that's why I give you 2022, not like 2013 or something like that, you know? So I hope that makes sense. That's what I personally think. But yeah, that's my thoughts there. We move on to Doozy, asking, do you think Nintendo will make Mario Wonder amiibos? You know, some Mario Elephant amiibos would slap. The only thing is, I don't think so, because if they were going to, I believe that we would have gotten them revealed in the Direct. And, you know, you want to have the amiibo at launch, because once the game launches, I don't imagine that this is going to be a very long game to beat, like Tears of the Kingdom. Like, for Tears of the Kingdom, they're adding DLC. It makes sense that they're putting out a Zelda amiibo and a Ganondorf thing. That makes sense, because you can probably use them with DLC. You can probably use them for other things. With Mario Bros. Wonder, that's like a beat it and forget it kind of game. They're probably not gonna add DLC to it. So I don't see a point in having amiibo for it. I do not think there will be amiibo for Mario Wonder. If there is, I'm open to it and I'll buy them, but I don't believe that'll happen. I don't believe so. I would love it though. And then here, they told me how to pronounce their name. NT Operating System Kernel asks, will the iconic loud voice from your older shorts ever return? No. Here's the thing. When I was like a bit louder in previous shorts, this sounds so hard to believe. I didn't even know I was doing it. And I've said it before. It goes so deep into your subconscious that you don't even know that like you're screaming in these shorts until you read a comment that says, hey, you're screaming, and then you go back and listen to it and like, wow, I was loud back then. So it wasn't even like on purpose. It was not on purpose. Here, I think that I turned up my voice on purpose, like Sorry, not like volume wise, but like people were saying that in my like very early shorts, like I sounded like I was like half asleep. So I think that my mind wanted to like turn it up, but I did not realize that I was like screaming until someone told me that I was. And then I heard it immediately. It's like one of those things where it's like Yanny and Laurel, where it's like you can hear what you hear, and then you can hear the other one when you think about it. So like if there's an audio saying, you know, Mario, what if it sounds like two things? You know, one person hears Mario, one person hears Luigi. Like I heard Mario, and Mario to me was not screaming. And then when someone said, "Hey, try and hear Luigi," I heard myself screaming. Like if that makes any sense at all. I didn't know I was doing it until someone told me. So the answer is no. I found a voice now to use in my YouTube shorts. So I'm gonna stick with that. I think that is the best voice to use. But yeah, it was just like a weird. It's almost like Logan Paul. Not to use him as an example because people don't like him. Like when he was doing those like crazy like energetic vlogs, and then he kind of like stepped back and was like, "What the heck was I doing?" Like that. That's what I had. I had like, "Oh, who is that person who was doing those YouTube shorts?" It's like that's not me. You know, it's like one of those content things, and it happens to a lot of people, and I was one of them. So it's not ever gonna return. I found my new voice to use now. And then final question, Sour Dreamers, not even a Nintendo question, but I picked this question because I wanted to answer it. It's interesting. What is your opinion on the new PlayStation Portal? So, if you don't know, PlayStation is kind of coming out with a handheld console. I say kind of because it's not totally handheld. Like, it has to be on Wi-Fi and things like that. I mean, I like the idea of it. It's kind of cool. Smart, kind of. But I feel like if you're gonna make a handheld, you can't like dip your toes in. Like you got to do a cannonball, bro. So I don't believe it's, you know, a Switch or a Steam Deck killer. It's just kind of like an add-on for those PlayStation 5 players. I don't think it's very much. It's like a Wii U gamepad for those who don't really know. I don't really understand the appeal of it. Like, I guess like playing the games handheld in your house. At that point, just play on the TV. I don't even know. Which is why it's like a Wii U gamepad, you know? It's like, I don't know. I think it's meh. When are you going to use that? Not often. So my opinion on it, meh. It should be fully handheld. I don't fully understand it. Well, look at that. You just finished a clip from my podcast, The Mario Matters. Seems like you enjoyed it. You watched the entire thing. Why not watch the full podcast right up here? Maybe even subscribe while you're at it. And maybe even leave a like if you're feeling nice. Any of those things. See you over there.